today we are going to start the new chapter, that is subject verb agreement. So this chapter will come in your test 3. It is in your test 3 syllabus only. Now let's see what is subject verb agreement. First of all, subject verb agreement means that when a singular noun takes a singular verb, because this is the basic rule that when the subject is singular, it takes a singular verb. And when the subject is plural, that is a plural noun is present, it takes a plural verb. This is called subject verb agreement. That means the subject and the verb agree with each other. That when the subject is singular, the noun is singular, it is taking the singular verb, and when the subject is plural, then it is taking the plural verb. All right. Now we will see the rules regarding the subject verb agreement. So it is being said that when two or more singular or plural subjects are joined by and. All right. So when two subjects like my brother and sister. So my brother and sister, both of them are singular. Brother is also singular and sister is also singular. So when two or more singular subjects are joined by and is present in between, right? Then what happens? They act as plural compound subject. So they become a compound subject. So my brother and sister becomes a plural compound subject because these two make plural. Because brother was singular, sister was singular, and when they are added together with and, they become plural. So what they become? They become plural compound subject and take a plural verb. All right. Why they take a plural verb? Because when we add them with and, they become plural in nature. So here we have used are over here. My brother and sister are acting in a play. So if it was only my brother, then we would have said my brother is acting in a play. If it was my sister only, then we would have said my sister is acting in a play. But because we have added brother and sister with and, they have become plural. Now we will say my brother and sister are acting in a play. All right, understood? Now see the second example. The cat and the dog are great friends. So in this case also, see, the cat is also a singular subject. The dog is also a singular subject. So when we add these two with and in between, then they become plural together. So it becomes a plural compound subject. So they become plural when they are added with and. So the cat and dog now becomes plural, and are is used because now they have become plural. The cat and dog are great friends. See the third example. Soham and Anil have bought a car. So if Soham alone was present, we could have said Soham has bought a car, because Soham alone is something singular, right? Soham alone will be singular. And in the same way, Anil alone will also be singular. So if Anil alone was present, then we would have said Anil has bought a car. If Soham alone was present, we would have said Soham has bought a car. But because we have added these two with and, so now they have become what? Plural compound subjects. So because of adding them with and, they have become plural compound. So we will say Soham and Anil have bought. We won't use has over here. Have bought a new car. So this is the use of and. When we add two singular subjects or two plural subjects with and, then they act as a plural compound subject and they take a plural verb. All right. So you understand what is a singular verb, what is a plural verb? Singular verb means is, was, has. When we use all these words, they are singular verbs. And when we use were, have, are, all these verbs are plural verbs. All right. Now we will see the use of or, nor, either, and neither. So first we saw the use of and now we will see the use of these words. So when two singular subjects are joined by words like or, nor, neither, actually either or neither. So when we add with these words two singular subjects, then they require a singular verb. All right. So what was happening in and? With the use of and, the subject was becoming plural compound subject. But when two singular subjects are added with or, nor, neither, or either, then in this case the subject does not become a plural compound subject. In this case it remains singular only. For example, my uncle or my cousin is coming over. So over here, see, my uncle is also singular and my cousin is also singular. And in this case, it is not being added with and, but it is being added with or. So when it is being added with or, it is not becoming plural. We will only take singular verb only because it remains singular. When two singular subjects are added with or, nor, neither, or either, then they take singular verb only. So my uncle or my cousin is coming over. Here we are not going to say are coming over. So these are the rules that you will have to remember. All right. Then if we have to say two things are present and we have to say that both of them are fine. So we can say either is fine. All right. So because we are using either, that is why we are going to use is over here. Because for the or, nor, either, or neither, we use the singular subject. All right. So when two singular subjects are added, then with or, nor, neither, either, we are taking the singular verb. Now, two or more singular verbs joined by either or, neither nor, need a singular verb. So over here we're using only one word, or, nor, neither, or either in a sentence. But when either or are used in a single sentence and neither nor are used in a single sentence, then also we need a singular verb only. For example, neither the emperor nor the minister. So in this sentence, you can see that neither nor is coming in the same sentence only. And we have added the emperor and the minister with the help of neither nor, right? So neither the emperor nor the minister was able to give a reply. So over here, you can see that two singular subjects are being added with the two singular subjects. What are the two singular subjects? The emperor is a singular subject and the minister is a singular subject. So two singular subjects are being added with neither and nor. And what is happening? They are added, but they are taking a singular verb, that is was over here, was able to give a reply. Now see the second example. Either is also present or is also present. So if in a sentence either or and neither nor are present, then what is happening? Rohan and Amit are again two singular subjects, right? And they are being added with the help of either or. But I have already told you that when either or is used or neither nor is used to add two or more singular subjects, then we need a singular verb. So what we will do? We will write either Rohan or Amit is to be blamed. We won't say are to be blamed over here. All right. If it was Rohan and Amit, then we would have said Rohan and Amit are to be blamed. Because when we add them with and, they become plural compound subject. But when we add them with neither nor, either or with simple or, in these cases, they don't become plural compound subject and we only use singular verb in that case. All right. Okay. Now let's see some more rules. Now, when we deal with compound subjects, then what we do? Wait, I have to admit a few students. They are in the waiting room. Okay. So when a compound subject contains a singular and a plural subject. So now see, here is a difference. Till now, all the rules that we were studying had only two singular subjects present, right? If we go back, let me go back and show you first that all we were adding two singular subjects only. We were not talking about any plural subject, because you can see my uncle present over here is a singular subject. My cousin is also singular. Over here also you see the emperor, the minister, singular. Rohan, Amit, singular. So everything that we were adding, all were singular subjects only, right? So when we were adding two singular subjects, the rules were different. But if we have to add one singular and one plural subject together, then what will be the rule? Now we are going to study that. All right. So let's see what is the rule when we add one singular and one plural subject together. So when a compound subject contains a singular subject and a plural subject, they are joined by or, nor, either, or neither. So we are using the same words, or, nor, either, or neither, but the difference over here is that one singular subject is present and one plural subject is present. Both the subjects are not singular. So the verb agrees with the subject that is closer to the verb. So now the verb will agree with that subject that is more closer to the verb. So example will make you understand a bit better. For example, my uncle or my cousins are coming over. So now see, two subjects are present. My uncle is one and my cousins is the other. You will see that my uncle is singular, but my cousins is plural, right? So over here, we are not adding two singular subjects, but we are using one singular and one plural subject. And what was the rule? That the verb agrees with the subject that is closer to the verb. So in this case, my cousins is closer to the verb are, right? My uncle is far away. My cousins is more close, right? So what is happening over here? Since my cousins is plural, that is why the verb is also plural. We have used are over here. Understood the point? See the second example. You will be able to understand in a more better way. Over here also we have used the same subjects. My cousin or my uncle, and I have added them with or only. So over here, see, again two subjects are present. My uncle is singular and my cousins is plural. But over here, see, my uncle is closer to the verb. Over there, my cousins was closer to the verb, but here my uncle is closer to the verb. And since my uncle is singular, that is why we are using is and not are. And in the previous sentence, my cousin, that was plural, was closer to the verb. That is why we were using a plural verb, that is are. So if a plural subject is closer to the verb will be plural. If the singular subject is closer to the verb, then the verb is also singular. So we can say my uncle or my cousins are coming over, we can say my cousins or my uncle is coming over, because uncle is there closer, so we are using is. When cousins is closer, then we are using are. All right. Now see, with the help of neither nor. So we have used or in the first example. Now we will study with neither nor. Neither the team members nor the manager is in the office today. So now also see, we are adding two subjects. One is the team members and the second is the manager. And you can clearly see that the team members is plural and the manager is singular, right? And but because in this case the manager, that is singular, is closer to the verb, that is why we are using is. All right. In the second case, the manager is again singular and the team members is plural. But since team members is plural and it is closer to the verb, that is why we are using are. All right. So when plural verb is close, when plural subject is closer, the verb is also plural. And when singular subject is closer to the verb, then the verb is singular. So neither the team members nor the manager is in the office today. And we can also say neither the manager nor the team members are in the office today. All right. So have you all understood up till now? So now we come to the use of indefinite pronouns. So when indefinite pronouns are present in a sentence, then which verb is used? Now we will see that. So indefinite pronouns such as anyone, everyone, someone, no one, nobody, somebody, when we are using these type of indefinite pronouns, they always take singular. All right, because verbs, because they are always singular, we treat these indefinite pronouns as singular. Anyone, everyone, someone, no one, nobody, they are always considered to be singular and they always take singular verbs. All right. So remember the usage very well. Now see the examples. Everyone has to wear their uniform tomorrow. So since we consider everyone to be singular, that is why we are using has over here. We won't use have, all right, because everyone we consider it to be singular. So we will never say everyone have to wear their uniform. We will always say everyone has to wear their uniform tomorrow. Somebody now. So somebody is again something which is singular. So again, we will use has only with somebody. We will never use have with it. So somebody has left their wallet. All right. Now, when a phrase comes in between the subject and the verb has to agree with the subject, not with the nouns or pronouns in the phrase. So now they are saying that when a phrase comes in between the subject and the verb, and the phrase contains some nouns or pronouns, then the verb will only agree with the subject and not with those nouns and pronouns that are present in the phrase. You will understand it better with the help of example. For example, neither of the phones is working. So over here, neither of the phones is the phrase over here, right? And you will see that phones present over here is plural, but because this is a phrase, neither of the phones, so over here a noun phones is present, that is plural, but the verb is not going to agree with the nouns or pronouns that is present in the phrase, but it will agree with the subject that is present. So over here neither is the subject. All right. And with neither we know that we use the single, we use singular verb. So that is why we are using is over here. So neither of the phones is working. All right. So if there are singular or plural nouns or pronouns present in the phrase, we don't use them, we ignore them. Instead, we use the subject, we consider the subject that is present and we place the verb according to the subject. So neither of the phones is working. All right.
Muhammad Fadil, sit
Now,
up straight.
the sentences that begin with there is or there are have the subject following the verb. Therefore, the verb must agree with the subject. All right. So now they are saying that when the sentence is beginning with there is or there are. So here they are saying that when the sentence begins with it, they have the subject following the verb, because are and is are the helping verbs, right? So they are present in the sentence at the beginning only, is and are. So now it is being said that the subject should be according to the verbs that are present at the beginning of the sentence only. For example, if we are starting the sentence with there are, then the next thing that should be placed after are should always be plural in nature, right? And when we are starting the sentence with there is, since is a singular verb, so the subject that will come next to is should always be singular in nature. That is what is being said, that the sentences that begin with there is or there are have the subject following the verb, right? Because the verb are and is present and a subject has to follow them. So therefore the verb must agree with the subject. So when there are is present, then we are using many parts, and many parts is something that is plural, and it will easily go with are, that is the plural form of the verb. So when plural form of the verb is present, we have to use plural subject. When there is present at the beginning of the sentence, so naturally is a singular verb. So the subject that we are going to use will also be singular. So over here, no reason is a singular subject. So we will say there is no reason to worry. We won't say reasons. Why? Because is present over here. And when there are is present, we will use many parts. We can't say a part because are is a plural verb present. So we have to take plural subject also for it, right? Okay. Now we come to the next concept where we talk about distances, periods of time, sum of money, etc. when considered as a unit. See, this phrase is very important. When we consider these things to be a single unit, then a singular verb is used. For example, 10 lakh is something plural in nature. But when 10 lakh is considered to be a single unit, we can say that 10 lakhs is a lot of money. When we say 5 kilometers as a distance, then we will say that 5 kilometers is too far to walk. So when they are considered as a unit in a sentence, then they will also take a singular verb. Why? Because we are considering them to be a unit. And unit is something that is singular in nature, right? So when they are considered to be a unit, that is a singular thing, a unitary thing, then we are taking singular verbs. Okay. Now we move to the next concept. So now when we take when a singular subject is separated by from the verb by phrases such as along with and as well as. So when we are using as well as and we are using along with, besides and not, they are not part of the subject and we use a singular verb. So basically what is being said that when we are adding something with as well as or along with are used to add two subjects, then they also do not make a compound subject. Just like either or anything else, the rule is the same for as well as and along with also. So we will see, but wait. All right. So in this case, what happens is that we look at the subject that is present at the beginning. The rule is different for as well as. So at the beginning of the sentence, the subject that is present, that subject is followed in the verb that is present at the end. So for example, over here, the minister is present at the beginning and it is joined with as well as his brothers, right? So because the minister that is the subject present in the beginning is something singular, so we are using singular verb. And when the subject present in the beginning is plural, is like in the second sentence present over here, the ministers, right? So over here, the ministers is plural. That is why we are using are over here. So when we want to test what verb we will use, we will see that the subject that is present at the beginning, before the words as well as, and before the phrase along with. So in these cases, we will see the subject that is present before them. We are going to use the verb according to the singularity or the plurality of the subject that is present at the beginning. Okay. So for either or, what we were doing, we were saying that whichever was closer to the verb, we were using that. But in case of as well as and for along with, we will see what is present at the beginning. We are going to use the verb according to that. So this is different. The usage is quite different. For either or and for as well as and along with, the usage is very different from one another. All right. Now, another concept. Subjects that are plural in form take a singular verb. For example, you find a lot of subjects are present that take S in the end. For example, physics, mathematics. So please never get confused in this thing. Because it is written mathematics, it does not mean that it will become plural. For example, economics is a subject, right? Mathematics is a subject, physics is a subject. So whatever may be the subject, if it is a subject, then it will always take singular verb only. It will always use is. It will never use are. All right. So always remember this rule, that subjects that are plural in form, they always take a singular verb. Don't get confused by the s present in all of them. All right. Let's move to the next rule. Cases of collective nouns. You know what are collective nouns? When nouns are used as a collection, for example, a class, a herd, right? When we use collective nouns, then what kind of verb we are going to use? Collective nouns when taken as a unit. So see, there is one more place where we use the word unit. Let's go back. Where, see this case, where distances, we were talking about distances, periods of time, sum of money. Here also we were talking about that when they are considered to be a unit, we take a singular verb. That when we say 5 kilometers is a very long distance. So we always say we never say 5 kilometers are a long distance. We always say 5 kilometers is a long distance, right? When we say 10 lakhs is a lot of money, or we can say 10 lakhs is a huge sum. We never say 10 lakh are a huge sum, right? Why? Because we always, most of the times, we consider them to be a unit. We most of the times when we talk about them, we consider them to be a unit, and unit is something that is unitary, that is single in nature. So since it becomes singular in its usage, that is why we take singular verb. The same case is happening with collective nouns also, because in collective nouns also we make a large number of collection of things into something that is unitary. Collective nouns, when taken as a unit, such as a family, group, committee, or class, they take a singular verb. Why? Because we are considering them to be a single unit. For example, the crew is preparing for landing. So over here we are talking about the crew present in a plane, right? So the crew is being taken as a single unit and it is preparing for landing. So we never say the crew are preparing for landing. All right, because they are being taken as a single unit and it is preparing for landing. Now, when we talk about a class, for example, a class of students, so we always say that this class is making a lot of noise, right? Why we say that? Because we take the group of students, that is a class, as a single unit, right? So we always use is with it, that this class is making a lot of noise. But when we take all the students separately and we say students, then we will never say that students is making a lot of noise. because then we are taking a students as a group, we are taking it individually. Then we say students are making a lot of noise. But when we make it a unitary group, that when all the students are taken as a group and they are made a class, then we will say that this class is making a lot of noise. We don't say this class are making a lot of noise. We never say that. You have always seen that we never say that this class are making. We always say that this class is making. The crew is preparing. All right. My family is going somewhere. If you see in the family, there are many members present, right? Father, mother, grandparents, your siblings, a lot of people are present in a family. But what we say, my family is going to Delhi, right? We never say my family are going somewhere. Why? Because all the members present in a family, they are taken as a single group. They are taken as a collective unit. They act as a singular subject when they are in a collection or in a unit. All right. Now, see, when we talk about plural indefinite pronouns, so earlier we talked about some indefinite pronouns that are singular. And what are singular indefinite pronouns? They are everyone, someone, no one, right? They are singular indefinite pronouns. And some pronouns are plural indefinite pronouns. What are plural indefinite pronouns? Most, few, both, several. When we use these words, they are plural indefinite pronouns. They are not singular indefinite pronouns. The singular ones are, I am again repeating, you can, when you say someone, anyone, no one, everyone, when you use all those words, they are always singular indefinite pronouns. So now we are talking about plural indefinite pronouns, which are few, most, both, several. Some take a plural verb or a singular verb depending on the subject. So over there, it was certain that the singular indefinite pronouns are singular, so they always take singular verb. But in cases of plural indefinite pronouns, we have to see the subject. We are going to decide the verb according to the subject that is attached with them. For example, most of the cake was eaten. So now in this case, see, most has been used, which is a plural indefinite pronoun. But because we are talking about a single cake, that most part of the cake was eaten, so that is why we are using was over here, because we are talking about a single cake only. And we are saying that most part of that single cake was eaten. Understood? And if we use students with most, now see, the students is something that is plural in nature, right? So when we use most with students, then we will quickly use have with it, right? So we will say most of the students have completed their work. Now we are not going to use have. Why? Because with them, when we use plural indefinite pronouns, we see that they take a plural or a singular verb depending upon the subject. So over here, the subject was a single cake. So we were using was, that most of the cake was eaten. And over here, the subject was students, that was plural. So that is why we have used most of the students have completed their work. All right. Okay. Let's see if there are, no. So there are no more rules present now. All right. So I think today we will just do the rules only, because it is already 8:50 now.